This is Joe from the No Sitting on the Sideline Dad podcast, and the following podcast is rated D for dumb.
Coming to you from his Honda Fit and rated D for dumb, you are listening to Dumbing It Down with Dave.
Better to podcast from a fit than to throw a fit, wouldn't you agree? Here is Dave.
The following podcast is rated D for dumb. You're listening to Dumbing It Down with Dave, the fastest podcast on earth. Listen to Dave commute to and from work on the New York State Thruway in his 2009 Honda Fit. He talks about pragmatism, truth, happiness, and the search for it all. Join Dave as he asks and tells you how life ought to be. And now, here's Dave.
Hello, everybody. My name is Dave Canyon. Welcome to Dumbing It Down with Dave. Are you ready to dumb it down? All right, let's do it. It is Wednesday, May 22nd. It is 4:58 p.m. I'm running late. Actually, I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but I'm under the weather. I am north of Catskill. I just did the loop-de-loop in Catskill. One of these days when I have time at the end of the show, I'll explain to you the loop-de-loop, how it came to be, and what it is and how it came to be and why I still do it. But maybe this will be the show that I get to it, because I'm not really sure what's on the agenda, except to let you know that I am under the weather in many ways, more than one. And I did not want to do this podcast because I want my podcast is really for me to occupy myself during my commute to and from work. This way, instead of talking to myself and yelling at the radio, which I'm not going to listen to today because I know what they're talking about, and it's just more of the same, political frustration in this country and all that other stuff. I talk into the phone, I record it, and that keeps me from going insane. I could talk to friends of mine, but I don't really have any friends to talk to on the phone. I had a couple of depleters. I no longer talk to them. And maybe I should talk about that some more. Maybe I won't. I don't know. But anyway, it's a partly sunny day, partly cloudy. It's nice enough for a New York 5 o'clock afternoon. I wish I was not going to work. I wish I was home. I wish I was retired. I wish I was a do-nothing retiree, just collecting checks and pensions and 401ks and annuities and whatever. And then, get my car and go nowhere and do nothing. That's how I feel right now. This is a pretty real podcast. Hopefully it won't get real dark. I feel dark right now. I feel very dark. I could get very dark. I could get darker. But I'll try not to. I'll try not to trigger, find any of those triggers that gets me going down that road. So, anyway, what's wrong with me? Why am I sick? I don't know. I came home Saturday. I was, I had some chicken last week at Walmart. I might have had a little bit too much chicken, but I had some chicken and maybe it didn't agree with me too much. I didn't feel great. I forgot when that was. I think it was like last Friday night, something like that. Anyway, before this podcast, by the way, I spent some time clearing my nose, clearing my throat, and I actually, stopped at the pizzeria even though I was sick. I got 2 slices. I haven't had pizza in a while. Not good pizza. So I stopped at the local pizzeria there in Saugerties. I got myself 2 slices, extra crispy to go. I know most of you are probably thinking, Dave, if you're sick, why are you eating pizza? Well, that's a very weird thing about me. When I'm healthy, I eat a lot. When I get sick, I eat even more. I mean, I spent the whole couple of days, the last 3 days, just eating like a crazy person. Whatever's in the refrigerator, cold cuts, cookies, crackers, whatever I could concoct, whatever I could microwave. I just became an eating machine. Hold on, I'm taking a little sip of my Sierra Mist. Hold on. Hey, a drink break. Take a little drink break. I usually don't even get Sierra Mist, but I didn't feel like a colored soda right now. Is that racist? I didn't feel like a colored soda. I wanted a white, clear soda. It's not even white. It's a clear soda. So, anyway, yeah. So I became an eating machine. I had an okay Saturday, and I forgot when I got really sick. I think it was like Saturday afternoon, maybe Sunday. I can't remember. I really don't remember, but. I didn't go into work Monday to do overtime, which really bothered me. And then I didn't go into work yesterday, Tuesday, which is a regular day. So basically, I've lost 2.5 days of pay, which, when you're at our level, I think most of us are at the same level. of pay, of life, you see that. You see that in the check, and you feel that. Hold on, sneeze break. Oh, boy. There you go. Yeah, that's going to be happening. We took a drink break, a sneeze break. We'll take a breather break, maybe. Maybe. We'll see. And all that. So that was Joe Foley from the No Sitting on the Sidelines podcast right at the beginning. Yeah, he introduces himself pretty well.
This is Joe from the No Sitting on the Sideline Dad
podcast. There you go. Joe Foley. Thank you, Joe. Joe is, so far, and I'm very honest, I shouldn't lie to you. Hey, I got a whole bunch of responses. I got a whole bunch of emails. Hey, great last podcast. Hey, we love the AI. Hey, blah, blah, blah. Hey. But, that doesn't happen in Dave's world. Dave doesn't get, oh, wow, hey, wow, hey. Like, you get a lot of silence, which is fine. I know my place in the world. I think that's going to help me get through life a lot, is to know my place in the world, to know that nobody cares, and nobody likes it, nobody cares, nobody wants to share it. This is really all my energy. It's not your energy. It's not your energy at all. I don't blame you at all. I blame some of you. I do. And those who, need to be blamed and probably know that they're to be blamed. And it doesn't really matter. Blame. I'm even tired of bringing that up. Blame. Whatever. I don't blame any of you, really. Let me backtrack a little. Let me backpedal. I don't blame any of you. Whatever. It's all my fault. It's my problem. It is. It's my energy. And that'll get me through life, But I want to thank Joe for taking the time. He's a podcaster. He understands. And I know most of you are not podcasters, so that's fine. I get it. It's hard for you to think about, to participate in such a way where you would send your voice recording of something, because you're not voice recordable. You're not voice recording oriented. You don't want to do that. I get it. I do get that. So, if I had 1 million listeners, I'd probably only gotten 10 responses. I have no listeners, so I got 1 response. Thank you, Joe. No Sitting on the Sidelines podcast. It's all about Joe raising his son and being a good dad, not sitting on the sidelines, participating in his son's life. Joe is now single, was married, had a child, loves his child, wants to be a good dad, and talks about it on his podcast. And he talks about other things as well. He doesn't have the same show I do. It's a different type of show. He does mostly interviews. I would do mostly interviews too if I could find the time and energy to sit down and do all that. But I don't have the time and energy to do all that. That's why I do this by myself, because I don't have time and energy. So thank you, Joe. I appreciate you jumping right on that and contributing right away. And you can do other things too if you want. If you want to do a drink break, you want to do a breather break, you want to do the 8 Gs at the end, you can do that. You can do anything. Everybody is invited to just say hello. You can just send a voice thing and say, hey, this is so-and-so from somewhere. Just want to say hello. I love the podcast. Or you can just respond to something I said. It's really, now that I know how to do it, it's really easy. I realize this, though. It is easiest if you send it to me in an email. For some reason, when did I have a problem downloading this? Linda sent it to me in emails. That was really it. If you send it to dumbingitdownwithdave@yahoo.com, that's the easiest thing to do. I don't know about Twitter. I can't remember if I was able to download anything off of Twitter, but definitely through an email, dumbingitdownwithdave@yahoo.com. Send me anything, and if it's applicable to the show, I will play it. But I do want people to chime in at the beginning and say their name and say, this show's rated D for dumb. If you want to say something else, you can say something else. If it's not applicable, I'm not going to play it. So just be careful. But I would send something straight. Just like your name, hey, and or not, whatever. And just get right to it and be done with it. So thank you, Joe. I really appreciate that. And Joe's podcast, I think I've heard all of them. I'm not really sure. And sometimes I'm a little hypocritical because, and I'm honest about that. I'm very honest about my hypocrisy. I don't listen to everybody's podcast all the time because it's just so many. I just can't keep up with them. I've given up all my corporate podcasts. So what's a corporate podcast? Well, there's no such thing. I made that up. Corporate podcasts would be the ones that I listen to that are huge. They're just big business. The Mark Maron podcast, I gave up. That's called WTF. You know, why even mention the name of his podcast? He doesn't need any help. Well, I don't care. If you want to listen to his podcast, go ahead. I don't like his podcast. Well, I did like it for a long time. And I put up with certain things I didn't like his anti-Republican, his anti-conservative, his pro-liberal rants. I didn't really care for that. That's not the part of the show I really liked. I liked his interviewing and some of that. But he said some things in a couple of shows that really pushed me over the limit. I was done with it. He just rallied too much. I don't rally here on the show. I don't rally you to do something, do I? I don't think I do. Well, I don't rally, I think, biasedly. Yeah, another sip break. I don't rally. I don't think I have any calls to action. I want you to do whatever you want to do. I'm just, trying to explore the possibilities. If you don't consider them yourself, I like to consider them. I talk to you as I talk to myself. So if I call you a dum-dum, I'm already a dum-dum. I've called myself a dum-dum a million times. I've called myself worse than a dum-dum. So I don't listen to that. I don't listen to Mike Rowe. Mike Rowe has a show, The Way I Heard It. I don't listen to that show anymore. I try to listen to independent podcasters like myself, like Joe. Of course, Linda with Awesome Insanity Surfers. Alex Exum, I listen to. He doesn't give me a plug, but that's fine. On his live talk show on Tuesdays. Oh, by the way, I'm on Mile High Radio, milehighriradio.com, milehighriradio.com. On Mondays from 11 to 12, you can hear 2 back-to-back episodes on Mondays at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. So if you want to catch up, if you can't find that on the Spreaker app or if you can't find that on iTunes, you can listen to it on milehighriradio.com, milehighriradio.com. Thank you, Lynn, and thank you, Bobby. And big news coming from Bobby any day now. I don't know exactly. Whatever. Oh, there you go. There's the sneeze. Usually I sneeze in 3s, folks. So that's 1. Yeah, I don't have a sneeze button. I don't have a cough button. I'm in the car, so I don't have. I don't have a sneeze button. I don't have a cough button. I don't have a pee blocker. Nothing like that. Just my earbuds. Woo! Oh, that felt good. I think sneezing is good for me. I wasn't sneezing the first couple of days. I was sick. And then I started to feel better. Then I started to sneeze. I think sneezing is part of my body's way of saying, all right, you're getting better. This is normal for me to sneeze. I enjoy sneezing. I really do. It's one of my favorite things to do. I love the explosion of it. I love the anticipation of it. I love that whole feeling, and then letting it out like, oh my God, it's so exciting. That's where my life is right now. The sneeze is one of the most exciting things ever. So, man, go to work, not feeling good. I don't want to do this, but I'm going to do it. Saturday, I have audio. I don't have it for you now, of course, because I was so sick and I wanted my son to help me with it. But I went to go see a person who sees spirit, who hears spirit, whatever. I went to a psychic fair with my wife. It was pre-planned. We knew we were going based on how I felt Saturday. What did I pay? I think I paid like $30 for 20 minutes. I have it all recorded. The guy was nice enough to let me record it. And I recorded the whole thing. He did all the talking mostly. I just was like playing my poker face. I don't play poker. I don't think I have a good poker face, but I'd let him do all the talking. And it was very interesting what he was able to recognize about the spirits that are following me. He definitely saw my grandmother on my father's side, Frida. He saw Bill, my grandfather on my father's side. They were very prominent in my life, and he was very accurate of certain descriptions, which were kind of interesting. Also, my dog Bobby, who's no longer with us, he recognized my dog as a spirit. That was great. That's interesting that he would go to these names, he would go to these people. He didn't call Frida by name or Bill by name, but by their personality. It was interesting that he was recalled. It's all on tape. I like to break it up into bits and pieces so I can play it for you. But then again, the problem with that is on the Spreaker mobile app, I have the playlist. I don't know how to use the playlist. I got to figure that out. But on the effects screen, there's only 6 choices. I already use... No, there's only 5 choices. Excuse me. I said 6 last week, too. There's only 5 choices. There's 5 buttons you can press, 1 through 5, basically, to call up. And right now, they're all filled. Joe got the 5th spot with the No Sitting on the Sidelines podcast intro. So, you can find Joe's podcast on iTunes, and I forgot to have him tell me. I think he can find him most places. Look up No Sitting on the Sidelines podcast with Joe Foley. I think it's Foley, Foley, something like that. Foley, you'll find it. Joe. Joe was my roommate, second podcast movement. First podcast movement was Matt Neff. Second podcast was Joe Foley. Third one will be Jason Juliet, as they go through the entire podcast world as roommates, one by one. So that was interesting. I never thought I would do that, and that's all based on my experience watching the Long Island Medium. I didn't need to see anybody. I don't have the... I just don't have a need. You know how these people go to see Teresa from the Long Island Medium and they start crying and it's a whole thing? I don't have that need to connect with the dead. They could have said some things that would have been really nice. Oh, yeah, okay, here's one. I have this on tape. I have this recorded digitally, but I'll tell you what happened. It was something alluding to the fact that I feel like I constantly get screwed. That was so fascinating that he mentioned that. There was one other thing. I'm trying to remember what that is. But he did mention about me getting screwed. That my grandparents, that my spirits, these 2 spirits that he was talking to, said that I am a good guy. I do deserve nice things, whatever, something like that. That I'm a hard worker. They had no complaints about me. But Spirit never seems to complain. They seem to be fine with everything. But the fact that he alluded to that about me getting screwed, I found that fascinating. And so that was nice to hear. They were very optimistic about my employment opportunities and my future and my creativity. There was, by the way, I was wearing no podcast shirt. I was wearing a podcast shirt when I was at the house. Then I said, no, I don't want to wear anything that gives any information. So I just wore solid colors, and there was no way of looking at me. I don't know what, when you look at me, other than a possible pedophile, what you might think of me. Like, oh, this guy looks like he's a cartoon character from, like Shrek or whatever negative. I'm just going to disarm all of you or anybody. Like, oh, yeah, he looks like this monster. He looks like this ogre. He looks like this pedophile. He looks like this sex offender. Well, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Whatever. I don't give a crap. Say whatever you want about me. I know I'm not, the handsomest guy in the world. I don't care. I don't care. Bald and fat, middle-aged. Who cares? Uneducated. I don't give a crap. I know nothing. Dumb as a rock. It's fine. It's good. You're smarter than me. You're better than me. You're prettier than me. You're handsomer than me. You're more creative than me. Fantastic. Good for you. Good luck, and God bless. Fantastic. So anyway, that's what he said. There was one other thing I can't remember, but it was pretty dead on. And there was a couple things he was way off. He was like, forget about it. It doesn't really matter. He thought that my grandfather was like a fisherman. Something about boats and being a fisherman. I don't know anything about that. So he was way off on that. And but he was pretty close on certain other things, and he nailed a lot of things. So I wish I could do a podcast and break up all the pieces of things that he said and then respond to them. I think that'd be interesting. So if you don't believe in mediums, I get it. I'm not here to be pro-medium. I'm not anti-medium. You know me. I'm middle of the road. If it works for you, it works for you. I'm good luck and God bless. I'm happy for you. So it worked for me. It was nice. Was it worth $30? Yeah. Nowadays, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I would have been, what are you, crazy? What do I need to know from the dead? I needed to know from them when I was alive. Now they're dead. I don't care. So I'm very practical about it. Was it pragmatic to spend $30? Listen, I don't spend a lot of money on a lot of stuff, So, the answer is no, it wasn't pragmatic. It wasn't the smart thing to do. But, I could have went to Great Adventure with that money. I could have done a lot of things with $30. If you have $30 extra, it's not so bad. So spending money is not anti-pragmatic. It's also not minimalist. I know I'm not a minimalist expert. I want to be. I really do want to be a minimalist expert. There is a podcast called The Minimalists. I've heard a whole bunch of podcasts. They're sort of corporate in a way, but I just haven't had time, really. I just haven't had the mindset to take in that information. But there is two guys that wrote a book, and they do have a podcast called The Minimalists. And it is very good, and I would like to live that way. But spending at $30 was fine, and my wife and I had some food after at this place called Keegan Ales in Kingston. We don't go out much, my wife and I. That's really sad. We should go out more often. How many minutes? 20 minutes and 38 seconds? All right, let's take a breather break. Might as well. Do a test. Oh, I got to clear my nose.
I do believe this is a good time in the show to take a breather break. Dumbing It Down with Dave is sponsored by Air. Anywhere in the world, air is free to breathe, so breathe freely. Are we ready, Dave?
Emma, hold on.
I was ready.
Breathing? Really?
Harry.
We are artificial intelligence and do not need to breathe.
You gotta let go of it, Harry.
We do not need to eat or drink either, Harry, but I catch you looking at images of bakeries.
Uh-oh.
Point taken, Emma. All right. Dave.
Yes?
Go ahead and do the breather break.
Okay, thank you, Harry. I really appreciate that. Got caught looking at pictures of bakeries. What's wrong with you? Don't you know how to do these things in private, Harry? Anyway, what's your daughter going to think? All right. They got a daughter, supposedly. They're married. I just found this out. I didn't know. I had questions about their relationship. Because I don't know all the AI characters. I know some of them. I know a lot of their voices. I haven't really been paying that close of attention to know the history and the background of some of these voices. But no, I talked to Linda. She tells me. So now we know they have a daughter. Who knew that? All right. You should be ashamed of yourself, Harry, looking at pictures of bakeries. All right, 3 deep breaths. How's my attitude? Does it suck? Am I really like a bummer today? Sorry. This is reality. If it wasn't for Mile High Radio, I would have done this podcast. I got to keep on doing them, right? I got to push through. I think this is episode 123. Holy cow. What's my number? Oh, yeah, who's in my 3? Nobody emailed me. Who's in my... Oh, did I just put that out? I might have just put that out. Who's in my 3? Are you in my 3? Who's going to go with me? Linda said she'd go with me. Who's in my 3? I'll take Linda. Sure, why not? Anybody else? You got one more? You got room for one more? Who's in your 3? Anyway. It's kind of like a Deadpool question, but not really Deadpool. 3 deep breaths, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Believe me, I'm a lot more cheerful than this, but today it's like, ugh, who wants to go to work? Who wants to go to work ever? Work. Well, I've done it. Done enough of this. Okay. 3 deep breaths, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Do the best you can. Do it. Okay. That was not a good test. Okay. Here we go. And go. All right, not bad for me. How was it for you? Ooh, a little woozy there. Gotta be careful. I'm driving. I just got to exit 23 at the toll booth. Oh boy, gotta pay attention. All right, and go. All right, that's 2. That's 2. Last one, deep as you can. Hold it at the top and then let it out. Ready? Go. All right, as Emma said, that breather break was brought to you by Air. Anywhere you are in the world, if there's air, you should breathe it. It's free and clean. Enjoy air. Always be prepared. Be ready to breathe. Can't stop doing it. I'm addicted to it. I love breathing. I really do. I want to be better at breathing. I want to breathe for a long time. If life is worth living, I'd rather be breathing. Yeah, there you go. There's a good slogan. If life is worth living, you should be breathing. All right. How come I'm not in advertising? I should work in advertising. Woo, wait. So it was interesting to speak to the dead. I didn't speak to them, but to hear from the dead, I guess. It was interesting. Then my wife and I went to a place in Saugus. It's called Falling Waters. It's a trail thing that was set up by somebody, I forget who, some organization. It's very nice. We sat by the Hudson. We listened to the recording. We talked. And it was interesting. Oh, so I think 2 episodes ago, episode 21, I was reading from some notes. Oh, by the way, thank you, Mark, for commenting. Linda for commenting. Jeff commented. There was a couple of comments in the last couple of shows. Thanks, guys. I think the Spreaker comment page should be blown up, but whatever. You guys do what you can. I appreciate some of you who are sharing on Facebook. Some of you are not on Facebook. Some of you, do whatever you want. Ignore me. I don't care. Do whatever you want. But thank you for those that participate. It does make me feel better that you participate, but it's not really your energy, so can't really blame you, right? It's your energy. You do what you want to do with your life. I had a piece of paper the other day, Saturday, was coming home. I was reading it. I circled something. I went through the whole list, everything, Mayor de Blasio and Angry Cat, and I thank Tracy and her mom, for helping me with my Dave's Fit Life. By the way, Dave's Fit Life, my YouTube channel, which we haven't put out a video in a couple of weeks. I'm a little bit upset about that, but there's reasons for that as well. So I went through this whole list, and then there was something on the list I couldn't read. I'm staring at it, and I'm saying, and I'm looking at it. I can't. What the hell did I write? But I knew it ended in the word head. And I'm such an idiot. This is sleep deprivation and brain degradation at its strongest or weakest, at its best or at its worst, depending on how you want to look at it. The word I wrote was Riverhead, because Saturday afternoon, my son and I went to Riverhead Speedway out in Riverhead, Long Island. So I wrote it down as a possible thing to talk about, because it's kind of on my bucket list. And it's so amazing that it didn't ring a bell. I had just written it minutes before. Minutes. 30 minutes, 20 minutes. I sat there and I wrote it, just in case, because I knew I was tired. So I said, let me just write down all these things, and I'll bullet point, and I'll do the show, and I'll draw from the bullet points. And I understood everything I wrote everywhere else, but that one thing I didn't understand what I wrote. And my handwriting's not the best, and I didn't write it on a pad with support. I just wrote it on my steering wheel. I was writing it as I drove or something. It turns out it was Riverhead, and I think one of the choices I said was, maybe it says provolone. Maybe I was talking about cheese, but it is something head. And now that I look at it, I'm looking at it right now as I'm driving. It doesn't look like Riverhead at all. It looks like provolone. So, provolone head. That's a nickname I've never had, provolone head. So, yeah, we went to Riverhead Speedway on Long Island Saturday. That was quite a trip. A lot of traffic in New York City. I needed to have left a half an hour to an hour earlier. But Riverhead is way out there. It's at the end of the LIE. When the LIE ends... Wait, is that true? I think so. When the LIE ends, the Long Island Expressway ends, bang, you're at Riverhead. So, it's all outlets too now. But the track is still there. It's beautiful. If you're a race fan, great. And there'll be some footage that'll be up on Dave's Fit Life. So that's it, folks. That's everything. Once again, I hope that you'll send some drops. Well, I don't know what you want to call it. Dumbing it down with Dave. Say your name, where you're from if you want. You can say anything. It's rated D for dumb. The HE's at the end. You could say, breathe a break, drink break. You can comment on something we've talked about. You could just say hello, whatever. And how you listen. Hey, this is so-and-so listening to you on Player FM or listening to you on iTunes. Whatever. Just, engage with the show. Not too many shows care about you enough to give you the opportunity to engage. So, do I really care about you? I don't know. I care enough to invite you to engage. How about that? All right? All right. Well, until next week, I hope you enjoy this show. I know it was a little crazy. Hey, we didn't go too dark, right?
Everyone ready?
Ready? Yes,
Okay.
sure.
Uh-huh.
Good. I will start. Goodbye.
Good day.
Good night.
Good luck. Good riddance.
Godspeed.
Good rats.
And great skills.
Good Lord, Emma.
No, Harry. That would be 9. One too many.
All right. Thank you, folks. Hope you enjoyed it. Dumbing it down with Dave at yahoo.com. Tweet me at Dumb with Dave. Bye.